line?
Yeah, so the line, if the line like kind of going through a ship, like there, like that, that would kind of be like crew cabin, including like through here is probably officers, and there's probably a couple of officers like spread out through there.
Officers would probably be someone more armored.
That is, like the dock, so like that's where your dropship and stuff would fly into. Engines is obviously the back, and then computer is probably around there-ish, and then the bridge obviously being that bit there.
So I'm around here.
Yeah, you'd probably be
Like,
the
around
one of
this
the
area.
back lines of the like crew.
If anything, the bridge would probably be inside that center area there, because that was probably just engineering for the gun now.
Yeah.
So really, the bridge could be in the center of the ship if you really wanted to. Just have cameras everywhere.
Nah, I like a physical bridge. It'd be up there.
Yeah, I know what I was saying.
Okay. Let's...
Yeah, so I'm just really close to the computer and like away from everyone else.
Radiation.
The radiation doesn't come from the computer; it comes from the spike drive, which is like back here.
Which is at the back, yeah. Okay.
How
Normally
long
the
is
core
it?
of the
Like, it's
ship is
1,000
where the
meters
spy
long?
drive is.
Pardon, what was that?
I said normally where the computer is would probably be where the spike drive is.
It's normally not.
Yeah.
Normally separate.
Yeah, the
Spike drive
computer,
is
like
the big
computer
one,
core
just
and
the
spike drive would be
radiation
separate on
thing.
the ship.
I don't know then. So, what are we doing?
I have a question for BB.
Yeah, I was just grabbing a drink. So just quickly, yeah, we'll jump back into this. So to set the scene, you guys are all kind of like settling into your rooms or around about the ship. It probably hasn't been long since where we left off last time. Maybe an hour, 30 minutes, whatever. Reminder that you guys do. I think it was 4 hours from the point that she said. Have a briefing on the bridge about like the mission that you guys essentially have.
Right.
But until that time, you've basically been given the time to have time to settle into the ship, get to know your surroundings, that sort of stuff. So yeah, what are you guys doing?
I'm actually fairly sure that was only me and Mary who heard about the meeting, or would she told everyone else?
Yep, no, it would have only been you two.
Yeah.
For the moment, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. I have a question for BB.
Yep.
BB, may I ask you something?
Of course. The blue box like appears, like materializes in the room.
I imagine I've just been like straight up into him.
Yep.
Like,
Okay. Yeah.
however
It's
long
still
it was
there.
for the past
You-
hour. Yeah.
Just, yeah, part of your conversation. Yeah, go for it.
How old are you?
Me, I was created 3 years ago to help with the organization. I was there at its birth, and I will probably be here at its death.
I look slightly surprised. This is probably the youngest AI I've ever encountered.
Yep.
Like everything I've encountered
I
would
would-
have been relatively old.
I would very much imagine it is, considering most AI like that would exist in the sector.
Well, yeah.
They're like pre-Scream, right?
I think most of the AI I would have encountered would have been pre-Scream on like Relic Worlds, though I would have probably spoken to one or two that weren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is definitely
Yeah,
the
that's a very rare
youngest.
amount.
Yeah, I know.
You probably haven't spoken to that many in general.
A fair few. Well, more than you would expect. So I look surprised. What organization? Or is that limited access?
Yeah,
information?
the box starts to spin, and you see like code and stuff like running through it. It says that information is slightly above your pay grade.
Well, I don't
I'm
really
sure,
have one
and then
of
like
those.
he says the captain has an open book policy from what I've seen on previous missions. I'm sure when the time comes, she will fill you in on all of the information that you are required to know.
BB, Do you identify with any standard human gender, or are you? What pronoun should I use for you?
We are separate, not human. Some AI adopt personality. Uh, Messy business. We are what we are. Unadulterated, like a massive thought and complex algorithms. Nothing more.
Are they?
Yes. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Purely curious as to what you would prefer to be called.
BB.
You do understand how, in conversation, saying when normally you would refer to it as a him or her, saying BB would be slightly confusing.
Yeah, it just continues. It says, I have no preference.
All right then.
Whatever makes you most comfortable.
I have encountered most the AI. I've encountered different AI with different preferences, so
Indeed,
I was
there are
just
many.
curious.
Okay. So what are the rest of you doing around the ship? Mary and Vincent, are you both still chilling in the officers' lounge?
It's like been an hour or so, you said?
Yeah, probably like hour, half an hour. Not too
By
long.
now, I probably would have at least like left the officers area and just like started exploring the bridge, trying to find a place where I like that would be as my room.
Okay. Yeah, like you find a room that has like a name card in it. That's Vincent Strange, Sergeant Vincent Strange.
Yeah, like since he's probably like just very worn down from the day's events, so he's just gone in the room, taken his psychic pills, and gone to sleep for a
Okay.
while. Set an alarm for when there's a meeting.
All right. What are you doing, Mary?
Yeah, just got the blue box to escort me to my room. It's like very simple, like blue box, my room.
That doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't say anything verbally. It just starts materializes and then leads you to your room.
All right. Then she ditches her the gear that she used, and then like blue box, take me to Aaron, specialist Aaron show.
On the way, and then it follows you down there. So where do we find Aaron Joe?
Probably on the bridge, taking a look at the equipment at least on the bridge.
So yeah, blue box leads you to the bridge, and you see Aaron Joe having a look at some of the equipment that's around. What do you two do now that you've got to a similar point?
Well, I'm probably really immersed in looking at all the equipment because this is definitely probably the biggest ship that I would ever be in at this point.
Yeah, you're probably more used to like dropships and fighters than
Yeah, so this is
cruiser.
really big, and I'm like trying to figure out exactly what's helping it run all together and seeing if there's anything I'm unfamiliar with.
Okay. So as like BB floats into the room, followed by Mary, you hear you hear like the voice of AI who you talked to before. You hear evening specialist.
Did I hear footsteps from
Yeah, you
Mary?
probably would have heard.
Yeah.
Like you would have
Yeah,
heard
you
footsteps, and then you would have heard like shh as like the door opened.
I would
Okay, I would
assume this
turn
ship's very
around.
large and echoey.
Yeah.
How's it going, specialist Joe?
Just getting familiar with what we have to work with. I don't suppose there are any other crew members that we don't know of. I've only been in like 2 places on this ship so far.
BB pipes up, says, "No, you're the only people on board."
Is it going to stay that way?
That is the captain's decision.
Okay. And I'm gonna turn to Mary. I'm gonna say, so what do you need?
I have no needs. I just figured I'd see what you were doing.
Yeah, I a lot of shit has happened today. I say like still looking around. I'm like,
I don't think
so
you'll be piloting this piece of shite.
yeah, probably not, but it's good to know what we got to work with at the very least.
Have you been
So
in the cargo bay?
no, I haven't.
We should probably check it out, see what kind of gear we're dealing with.
That'd probably be good. Do we? Did the captain say anything about needing to do anything or no?
She has a briefing in 3:30 hours.
Okay. Yeah, let's check out the cargo bay. If we got some vehicles or some heavy artillery, that'd be pretty decent to have.
Blue box, do you have an inventory list?
Coming right up. And yeah, like your like personal combat or whatever you have, just a list of inventory scrolls in front of you. There's a lot of like useless stuff, like just like standard stuff, like medical supplies, weapons, that sort of crap.
Weapons aren't useless.
And then yeah, you see like ammunition and all that. And then you see like the vehicles. And then so listing, it's like it's got like 2 times, so like 2 time like grav tank, 2 time like grav flyer. Yeah, like there's just like drop ships, there's like land vehicles. You guys are pretty damn well kitted out.
It's
Like
a
no,
huge yet empty ship.
yeah, like normally this would be the sort of gear that gets like dropped for like I don't know a battalion, like a much larger group than the 5 of you. You've had some pretty heavy, like hefty resources spent on you.
Like compared to other ships in the navy, would this be considered a flagship almost?
No, it's quite small. Like put this into comparison to like the Elizabeth. This ship is tiny, but it's like okay. So the armament and like the technology on the ship is like leagues above what like
So
a
it's like
standard ship is.
pre-tech mixed with very, very good post-tech.
So it's like it's mostly Tech 4, but then there's like a whole bunch of Tech 5 that's been like incorporated in it. Like from what actually, Aaron, do you want to kind of like roll something to see what you discovered in your time like looking around the bridge?
Sure. What should I roll?
Probably like astronautic, tech astronautic skill check, unless you have something you feel is more relevant for you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, roll event. Okay. So like you've noticed that the ship has some sort of like stealth capabilities. You're not really sure how in depth those features are, but you know it's got something. You know that like yeah, like I said, it's a mainly tech level 4 ship, but there's a few features in here which are like tech level 5, which is very rare. The only other like ships that have any tech level 5 components whatsoever are like the capital ships. So like, the Elizabeth has some. Yeah, it's pretty rare for ships that have any sort of tech level 5 incorporated into them. It's rare stuff.
Yeah, so then I'm probably going to mention after we see the inventory to Mary that they sure have spent a lot of money on the gear that we get. Most of the stuff isn't available to most people.
I know, but you know, I notice there's an absence here. There's the York, the spike stuff that they used to blow up the planets. Do we have one of those?
No, there is nothing of that sort of like heavy ordnance on board the ship. You have like missiles. You have a couple of like. You do have some nukes on board, but there's nothing of that sort of magnitude.
And most nukes are useless anyway.
Yeah.
So that briefing in 3 hours time is probably not going to be about blowing up a planet. We'd be stomping nuts very discreetly.
It's a stealth ship.
Yeah, it's a stealth ship. Perfect vessel for delivering high quality ordnance and explosives.
Well, we do have grav tanks. We seem to have quite a lot of weaponry on board, so whatever we can get our hands on, we'll just have to use it, I guess.
I just imagine that during combat our armor gets destroyed, there's spare armor sitting in a locker somewhere.
Yeah, there's definitely like spares of like all of your equipment like laying around. Pretty much think of like any TL like 4 stuff, and it's here.
Yeah.
in one fashion or another.
We should check out Eliza Dane.
What was that?
So
we
actually,
should check out the quarters of Eliza Dane.
so that there's one other thing, just quickly, Aaron, that you've noticed. This ship is rigged with like what is essentially drop pods, to like basically insert you from orbit.
The
ship-
things that were fired out of the ship that had people in
Yeah.
them before, in the other, on the when
To-
you're on the planet.
To phrase it in like a universe which you might understand, like you've got ODST drop pods on the ship. It is capable of packing you into coffins and dropping you in behind enemy lines.
I don't suppose there are anything like that for the vehicles as well, is there?
Yeah, there are ways for them like to drop vehicles. It is a lot less quiet to drop a vehicle than it is to drop one of you guys.
Yeah, I'm just.
So that's kind of like a last chance like situation where if things go bad and you need support like now, they could probably drop a vehicle in for you. But yeah, that's not a quiet solution. That is one way to get a ship noticed.
Okay, yeah. So I want to probably check out the cargo bay. Do we have anywhere to put our stuff?
Yeah, you have like lockers
I
in
mean,
your rooms.
Yeah. So
There's
I
like an
don't have
armory
a
on
room
board as
yet,
well that
at
you can
least not
chuck your
that I'm
weapons
aware
in,
of,
that sort of
so
stuff.
I'm not aware if I have any room yet, so I'm just gonna ask Blue Box if I can take any room.
Blue Box says, as long as it's not taken by another member, it is yours.
Okay.
You have a lot of choice.
How many rooms are there?
Plenty.
Yeah. BB just says, BB like lists off like an exact number, which I don't know. But yeah, it gives you like there is space for 400 crew members on board this ship. I'm sure you'll be able to find a room.
There's also the
Okay,
officer
yeah.
quarters
Yeah.
and all them.
You know, lad, there's a spare bunk in my cell. We could share it.
I probably need another one just for DC over there. I'm assuming my dog followed me wherever I went. Okay, yeah. DC likes to get his own bed usually. It's a pain, but
Why don't you take the bunk besides me, so at least we'll be able to socialize?
yeah, in a big ship like this, I assume it'd be a lot better to have somebody to talk to.
Aye.
And I'll just follow Mary to wherever our room is.
Alright,
So
cool.
we crash next to each other's with matching bunks.
Yeah.
So far, I'm the only one who's actually taken one of the officers' quarters.
Yeah, we don't do that shit. We're privates.
Hey, I've got a room that isn't tiny.
Yes, but you're a weird robot person.
That's race cyborgist.
But you said you took one of the rooms down near the
Machinist.
AI core. That's probably one of the smaller rooms.
Yeah, that's definitely crew quarters.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a crew quarter, Liam?
Yeah, probably.
Shit.
Yeah, there's no. He did say the officers' quarters were
Near the
under the
front.
nose.
Yeah. Well, oh well.
Yeah, but you need 2 bunks, right? So you have one for your dog.
Yeah, I do.
So is anyone else doing anything specific in the like 3.5 hours that is left to?
Not really.
No. Not that I can't do later.
Vincent's asleep.
Actually, I
Oh.
want to find
Oh, go ahead.
Elijah.
Okay.
So I just pull up the schematic of the ship and find her live signal and go to it.
So where do we
Dog
where,
tags.
where do we walk into? Like, Elijah, what are you doing? Where do we walk in?
I'm in the medical bay for now. That's where I went to sleep when I got in.
So you
I went to and then
lead
sat
yourself
on
down to the
bed.
medical bay.
Yeah,
I knock on the door.
I'm very asleep. I did take about 20 sleeping pills on the ship.
Oh
here.
my god. I leave.
Didn't you fail your sleeping pill check though?
Yeah, but I imagine they're gonna kick in at some point.
Oh yeah, that's just a delayed effect. Like you just dropped dead
Yeah.
as soon as you walked into the
Hey,
medical
look
bay.
at you.
I'll just go to the officers' lounge
Hey, we got
Or where the
mustache. Cool.
largest grouping of people is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
Awesome.
had power and internet problems due to a huge storm going on right now.
That's
For the
alright.
people who are watching, that's Mustache. He's annoying.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Don't worry. I legitimately actually still have plans to add you in, so that works.
I don't believe you.
I actually did, because we haven't got to the point where I would have added him in anyway, even if he was here at the start of the session.
That's because we're in hyperspace.
Because you are not out of slip space or dry space yet, so
Dry space. That's
kind of
hyperspace.
impossible to get him in
He
yet.
was hiding in the cargo bay.
There's a knock on your ship.
Okay, cool. Alright. So it's probably like the half an hour or the 3.5 hours have passed. And if you haven't been given the orders, Blue Box appears to you and says, briefing, like, it probably appears like 10 minutes before, and says, briefing in 10 on the bridge. I recommend you attend. It'd be a shame to miss the first one.
He appears in front of me as well.
It'd appear everywhere.
So
Well, you-
while I was in the officers' lounge with everyone else, I was spending the past 3 hours just talking to BB, like pretty much ignoring everyone else.
I don't
Okay.
think there's anyone else in the offices around, is there?
Yeah, I think
I don't
everyone's
think he went. Yeah,
gone.
it's
Oh, no
empty,
one was
man.
there?
He
Oh,
by
yeah, I was
himself,
just
dude,
talking-
yeah.
Okay.
So you guys all go to the bridge, yeah? Or anyway.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, you walk onto the bridge and there's a like a display in the middle, which like the captain is standing in front of. As you guys all enter, she turns around and says, hello. I told you we had a mission." And then she like turns and looks at the screen, and you see this basically. You see a sector map that has like multiple like dots all over it, like green and red. Green being like known locations of like friendly fleets, and then red being last knowns of hostiles. So looking at that, she turns to you and she says, "Well, we're gonna go get our own back. What did you say?" And she kind of like looks towards you, Mary. She says, "Stomp some nuts."
Stomp some nuts, sir.
She nods. And then yeah, the display like flickers and changes. She says, "Here," and like in like a on the screen, there's like a picture of like a refinery, some sort of like a factory of some sort on a planet. She says, "This is where the Callans have been producing most of their arms, weapons. You will be inserting and taking care of this factory. There will be resistance. I've called in support, but they'll still be guarding it." And she like pulls up. There's like a diagnostic of a like a friendly fleet. It's a fleet. It's got about probably like 7 or 8 ships in it. She says, "It'll be providing support. Aren't you lucky? Getting an entire fleet as a distraction. But regardless of that, it should draw the main force away, but you'll still be encountering heavy fire as you enter." Let's see what this looks like.
How large is the facility?
Large shipbuilding. We need to stop their production on this planet. They're making ships quicker than we can counter. As you can see by what happened, things aren't going well, and we need to stop that from getting worse.
Clearly.
What is the civilian population of the planet?
That's the tricky part. The factory itself is in the middle of a civilian populous center. It's the reason we can't just, bomb it from orbit. We are not like them. Civilian casualties are not acceptable.
I'd not like something
is
has
why
been
we're losing.
confirmed.
Yeah. She like,
Avoiding
yeah.
as possible. How would you suggest we enter and do this plan then?
We have multiple methods we can insert you by. It's up to you. We could pilot a dropship down, chuck you into coffins, and throw you down that way. Insurgent is your choice. I'm sure you have more experience in the field than I do.
I looked at who's the It's Aaron's the like vehicle specialist, right?
Yeah, he's the pilot.
I looked at you, Aaron, and say which would be the more stealthy of the options. Which would it be least detectable?
I looked
Okay,
at
Leon.
Sai.
Like, I would actually say it's probably the drop pods will be the most
Yeah.
self-like.
Drop pods are probably the like. You can insert a drop pod. If you insert a drop pod correctly, it'll make noise, but it could just be a satellite or a
It also
meteor
depends
or
on
some
where
shit.
we land as well. Like, if we accidentally hit the side of a building, they'll notice.
Yeah, we would need to be clear, regardless of where we're going. We need to be sure that nobody will be able to detect us around that area.
So yeah,
for sure.
she pulls up like a map of the planet, and you can see there's like large population centers. There's like the factory in the middle of it, but there is like a countryside and stuff. It's not fully built up all the way.
It's not a mega planet. Or
Yeah,
something,
it's not like a city planet. So like there are like kind of like countrysides for you to insert into. It'd be probably from the one closest. She says from here maybe a 2-day hike. It's probably the closest we can get without drawing too much attention.
If we use a
What's
ship,
their
they'll detect us straight away almost.
What was that? Sorry.
We send down six. There's 5 of us. We send down 5 drop pods. That's gonna draw attention as well. 5 unknown objects entering the atmosphere is stranger than one larger one.
She nods. Says the insertion is your choice. I leave the details of the operation to you. I'm here simply to see things go as planned. We need this
What
factory
planet is this?
taken out.
A quick question about if we do successfully set this up. How are we supposed to get back? I'm assuming we've already caused quite a commotion.
I would imagine so. That's in part is why the fleet is there. They will launch a large-scale attack on the blockade fleet surrounding the planet. At the same time as you attack. Hopefully the fleet shall be a big enough distraction to put you in and take you back out. Of course, this does put a time frame on the operation. It is up to you. My recommendation would be the fleet attacks when you need to get out. That would make your insertion slightly more hot, but getting home is the tricky part, right?
Exactly. If we have the fleet there when we drop in, the fleet will more than likely be destroyed.
What level of technology is accessible on this planet?
Tier 4. As a pretty wide standard, anything that's inside of the kind of empires of the 2 factions is just going to be tier 4.
Okay.
I would vote for either the thing I would see is drop pod to the countryside would be the probably most safest thing to do, but it'd be also they'll be detectable.
Regardless of what we do, they're gonna detect us most likely. It's just how badly we want to be detected.
Drop
Whatever
pods.
I say.
I vote for drop pods.
I think drop pods would be easier. If we could find some form of transportation when we get down there, that'd be best.
So there's a map of the countryside, right?
Yeah, you've got a basic
Is
map
there
of it.
one Is there a small town in the countryside?
Yeah, there's,
I
there's,
point to
there's,
a
small
location,
settlements.
a few kilometers outside of the town, and what if we drop a few hours outside of the town, walk to it, and acquire a vehicle?
That's probably the best path of action. There
Then
are
we'd have
forests
to
nearby
spend
that area.
days hiking.
Can we contact any of the civilian population, maybe criminal elements?
Yeah, she turns. She says, "This is where it gets complicated. Your job here is to take out the factory. Civilian casualties, I don't like, and
but they're to be
should
expected.
be avoided wherever possible. If you have any other option, avoid them. But detection is almost as bad. This place it's highly militarized, and although the fleet will draw fire, as you will, civilians could trigger alarms. I'd like to get you all back alive. This is our first mission.
Do
As
we
much
have
as
any-
you abhor civilian casualties, they are to be expected in war, especially in operations such as these.
She nods. She says, unfortunately, it can be part of the job.
Vincent looks around their room. Vincent looks around the room saying, I might have some connections on world as part of like the criminal underground, but I'm not sure if they're still here. I'll have to check once we're on land.
She nods. She says, it's an idea.
If I can contact my allies, they may be able to help us.
Yeah.
So
Captain,
the
I
best
have a
option.
question.
Yes. I just don't see.
Speaking.
What exactly is that? And I point to the blue box.
The blue box. So the captain, she smiles. She says, "I'm sure BB can introduce herself, or can introduce itself." BB answers, "I'm Blue Box, AI. Welcome to my
Can we
ship.
use you to disable the factory?
The loss," and this the captain says, "the loss of an AI is not acceptable. I'm sure BB could probably create a fragment of himself, but it would not have the full operating capabilities as the one housed within the ship. The fragment
It's
will be a
definitely-
fragment."
Vincent looks at the group. The AI has too important to lose.
BB's voice, like,
memories.
yeah, BB's voice once again sounding like cheery, says, "That's because I'm brilliant."
Sure you are.
Alright. So, how do we take out the factory then?
It'll be up to us once we get on ground and investigate the area, see what we can find could help us.
We have very little information. We only have small images, aerial reconnaissance. Most of our aircraft drones that try to get imagery are shot down.
Thermal imaging?
Yeah, she gestures to the images that she has. These are old, before the war. We'll have more information when we arrive in sector, when we can put our scanners to the test.
I say for now we just go with a plan of drop podding outside the city and then making our way in, seeing what we can find along the way. With the
I
little
feel
information
like-
we have, that's probably the best we can do.
I feel like bringing weapons is kind of important. Do we know if the civilians are armed at all, or is carrying weapons a normal thing on this planet?
She shakes
If
her
we're
head.
dropping in with assault armors, lad.
Yeah, she shakes her head.
Yeah.
She says,
That
Well,
is
they're not
true,
gonna
I
know.
guess.
weapons within the civilian populace are minimal. You will be dropping in fully armed and armored. Blending in, not so much a priority.
Guess we have to move fast then.
That would be the idea.
Well, a big factory like that requires a lot of power, so where's their source? And how can we use it?
She points out the map again, she says, as per our reports, bear in mind these are old. We believe it draws from the reactor just outside of town. Supplies all of the town's power as well. Knocking out the reactor will not be a permanent solution. We need to stop these bastards.
If we take out the reactor, it'll give us enough time and confusion to make it into the city, and then if there's no power to the factory, it'll be probably more easy to take out, as there'll be no alarms and probably very few people there.
They'll also be on high alert though, so we need to be prepared for that. If they suddenly lose power that when they're not expecting, they might think something's happening.
Well,
Especially
what
if
kind of
things so
reactor is
close
it?
by.
Yeah, it's also a good question. What kind of reactor? Are we talking about nuclear or fusion?
Our reports, they say it's nuclear, but we don't know. They could have
Note to
changed
self,
that. It's
don't
been
blow up reactor.
10 years.
Note to self, do not blow up reactor.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Well, we should. You want the factory destroyed? That's a good way.
It would also destroy most of the city and the people and us.
They'll get evacuated, I'm sure.
She nods. She says, as I said, avoid civilian casualties. If it's unavoidable, then do what you have to. But if possible, we're not trying to defeat these bastards just so we can become exactly like them.
Understood.
Good.
Well, if we can at least fake an overloading reactor, then they'll be busy. A lot of them will have to start evacuating civilians.
That is an idea. And
At maximum, how many days do we have on planet before the fleet has to fight? Has to come in. I'm like asking if the fleet will be nourished eventually. How long do we have?
maximum 3 days, 4 days, depends on when we launch the fleet. When the fleet jumps into drive space. The second it jumps, that's it. That's a timer. So we need to know
How long will it take for it to arrive?
from where it's currently stationed. 4 days, 5 maybe.
What system we're actually going to, by the way?
Let me pull up me map. You are going to, I think it's 504? Yeah, 504, it's like Al-Karachi is the, or how you say that.
Okay.
I'm not even trying to pronounce it.
Do we have intel on the current uniforms that they are wearing on
Al-Qurashi
their
is
assault
409.
armors?
Yeah, sorry. Did I say 409? What did I say?
Yeah. 504 is
504.
Guerra.
Yeah, it's 504. What's that? Yeah.
Was it a
Guerra.
409
So we're
is
going
real
to
deep
Jala?
in territory?
No, yeah, you're going to 504.
Guerra.
Guerrero.
Nandita? Nandita?
Nandita. Nandita.
Would it be possible to disguise ourselves as the enemy?
I don't believe they would wear combat armor like we do.
We don't have access to up-to-date records. They carry technology much like ours. And she kind of like gestures to the back of your neck, like the back of her neck. Your dog tags. They have the same sort of tech. We don't have access to codes, information needed to be able to fake that sort of stuff. We could dress up like them. He says with kind of like a smile, but on closer inspection, we'd be noticed.
I'm not sure how effective I would is dressing up.
Yeah, you're recognizable from anywhere. If they know what you look like, you'll be recognized.
No one knows what I look like.
Well, we have assault armors,
Never say
so
that. You can never be too sure.
Yeah, you're all dropping like, well, up to you guys, but her recommendation is that you're all dropping an assault armor, so you know.
so we can
Yeah,
at
I'm
least
going to be.
spoof our armors to look like the enemy, so that at least when we first drop down and start walking towards the enemy, they'll be like, "Is that our soldiers?"
We can disguise you visually, of course, but just don't get close enough to touch. Or if you do, make sure you have a gun to their head.
So current plan of action is the reactor first, then make our way into the city.
Yeah,
I would say best plan would just to get down there and see what we have to work with. If the reactor is able to be taken out, we might do that. Otherwise, we'll just head straight for the factory and see what we can do there.
she nods. She says, there would be ways for us to trigger alarms within the refinery. especially if it is still nuclear and they haven't done anything with that. A nuclear leak within the reactor, that's serious. Maybe we might be able to spoof that. Send the alarms, get them worrying. Evacuating the town, maybe? In that sort of confusion, sure, their state of alarm might be up slightly, but it could give us the edge.
My animated face frowns. And I say, how long ago did you acquire this information that they use nuclear energy again?
Like how long has the war been going?
10
15
years.
years.
Yeah, like 10, 15 years. The intel is old.
Nuclear energy is very inefficient. It requires a lot.
Yeah. Like
What,
she says, if they haven't upgraded it, then it's an option.
if they were still using it 15 years ago, I don't see why they wouldn't still be.
Yeah.
Can I estimate how long a drive with a tech level 4 standard car would be from that small town to the city?
Yeah, vehicles land.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming it would be a hover vehicle because it's a tech level 4 planet, but yeah.
No, it depends if we're gonna land on farmland at a town, so I doubt
Oh
it.
yeah, it would probably be a yeah.
It's like
probably a bit like
backwater town, so it's probably all
yeah.
land. Yeah, if you want to try and find that out, get somebody to roll vehicle land.
We have access to grab choppers, so we could be faster if we wanted.
But if
We'd
we
also
drop
be
the
going
plot
louder.
Yeah, we don't want to drop a chopper in. It's kind of stupid.
the
You'll
best
draw
plan of
attention
action,
anyway.
Be loud.
the best plan of action seems to be drop podding in near this town, borrowing a vehicle, then driving into the city from there. How long would it take to drive in from there, Aaron?
Roll the thing.
Well, if we encounter, say, a security checkpoint, what's the plan of action then? Because we'd be driving just a vehicle.
In assault
Yes, and we
suits.
could also be in heavy armor. We could probably
Yeah.
take it if needed.
Okay, I rolled an 11 on estimation of time.
So yeah, you reckon? So it's probably about she's actually probably be about like about a 2 day, 2 day like hike.
Walk.
So you reckon with like vehicles, you could cut it down to, I don't know. It depends how like quick you're driving, right? Like trying to be like inconspicuous, you can probably do it in, I don't know, 7
Couple
hours, 8 hours.
I'm assuming people still speed even in space. So
Yeah, speeding's a thing. Yeah, you reckon you can cut it down
I
to?
would just drop pod in and then take a vehicle. It's the best line of action.
Also, with the vehicle, we won't stand out that much. Hopefully.
Besides wearing assault armor.
Well, hopefully they got mirrors or windows and stuff
Depending
that
on
we
kind of
can lock
vehicle we
off.
get, we could hide.
Yeah. We also
Yeah,
have
just grab
Say
a
we
space
pull in a
truck.
truck, we could hide in the back.
We do have 5 people, so we do need a bigger form of vehicle at the very least.
Well, once we get in system, we should just make a scan and see where we can acquire one.
The town would probably be the best bet, but yeah, if we can see one closer, that'd be good.
How long
Should
until
probably
we
go
reach
to
the system?
Um, this is where I flick through books for jump speed.
We just left from.
Does BB still have to make
I mean,
navigation
Few
checks?
days.
What's that?
Still be a
Does
week or
BB
so.
still have? Does
Probably.
BB still have to make navigation checks for us?
I'm gonna honestly, I'm just gonna say no, just for ease. I
Aw.
don't want this campaign ending and the ship just exploding. Yeah. Well, at least
I
not
think he wants to do
exploding
that.
while trying to
We'll
enter
take the
jump
amount of time
space.
it'll take for the ship to travel.
Yeah.
Depending on what
It'll
level
still
drive
take the
we
amount of
have.
time it'll take for a ship to travel anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to put
Depends
up.
on this drive.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm trying to
if
find
he has
out.
a decent drive, then
I was meant to make you guys like a character sheet for the ship, but I didn't get around to
Didn't?
it yet. Yeah. Where are we? Let's say
Has the
like
ship got a name?
yeah, actually it does. For any of you who've accessed like the like logs of the ship, or for those of you who accessed the like, inventory and stuff like that,
Schematics.
yeah, there's it's the UNN Inquisitor.
Okay.
Okay, where are we? So the ship has a drive 4 on board.
What's the max
In-
drive?
Interstellar travel is 6 days per hex.
Yep.
And a spike 4 would be like cutting that in 4, so
Yeah.
a couple of days.
Couple of days.
To get to Nandita?
Yeah, spike 4 would let you travel 4 hexes, so we'd be headed straight for the place. We can do that.
Where are you guys?
It's 5 hexes away.
Yeah, it's
so
5, so you have to drop out once. Yeah, 5, no matter which way we. Yeah. So with a drive 4.
Oh, you're counting Amida as... okay.
For drive 4.
So, how long is one, like, from one hex to the next?
It's only for
It's
6 days.
It's 6 days?
Yeah.
It should be 6 days. It's,
Even with a drive level 4?
6. No. That's just with Spike 1, so it'll be 6 days in total. But
Yeah.
from
The
301 to
time doesn't
504.
change. The spike upgrades
1,
mean you just jump
2.
further hexes.
1, 2, 3, 4. It'll be 6
it'll be
days.
6 days. Yeah,
Okay.
so you had 6 days in drive space to flesh out your plan. And to familiarize yourself with your gear and the ship and so on and so forth.
How long do we want on planet?
Yeah, she just assumes.
I'm looking at everyone.
She already said about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, she says.
How long do we want to spend on planet, though?
Less than 1 day.
As little time as possible.
It'll probably at least a couple days.
Yeah, she nods. She says after I can give the signal as soon as we drop out of drive space. It will take at least 3 days for the fleet to arrive. Actually, you need to
If
adjust the position.
you do that, yeah, because that gives us 3 days on planet. If we do it in 1, then we hide. So it gives us time to on planet once we get
if
we have
we
all the
manage to
information.
do the reactor in 1 day, then they'll have a day or 2 in emergency mode, and we can sneak past.
Hopefully.
That
So
gives us
everyone
3
agrees our
days.
first goal should be the reactor.
We should definitely check out what it is. It helps at least to know what we're dealing with.
Definitely.
Do we have any explosives on the ship that we could bring?
Yep,
Nuke.
there are definitely explosives on board that you can take.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
have
should probably
everything up to
Nuclear
nuke.
warhead.
I mean, if you really want to, if you reckon you can realistically, if civilian casualties happen, but the job gets done, if you want to just drop it, if you just want to like bring a nuke into the center of the refinery and detonate it, that's in fact your guys' plan.
It'd be fun, but probably a bad idea.
They just blew up. They've blown up 4 planets of ours. I mean, this is
Few more,
piece
actually.
of. Yeah, this is
That was
nuts.
the military. That wasn't the people.
I actually do agree the best thing to do would probably be to blow up the facility using some form of explosives or chemicals they already have on site.
Let's bring some military explosives just to be safe. We don't know what we'll be able to find once we get down there.
What explosives do we have that are that can use the hand? Not nukes.
Okay, let me have a look and see what's on there.
We have mines and
Yeah.
grenades.
Mines, grenades. I think there's other things in the book. The new
Probably
one.
some form of C4.
Starvation cheap.
Yeah, let me just quickly check. Because I feel like there was, but I can't remember from the top of my head.
I feel like there'd be at least some form of C4.
There must be.
Launch charge. What's that? Is that what I'm thinking of?
We have the Buster Beam and landmine tail
Yeah,
for.
and lance charge as well.
Yeah.
3
My
each
heavy
12
cutter.
damage. Yeah, that's
So we have to figure out what to do with the facility once we get inside. What can we do with a facility, like
The
except
only way
blow
to
it
know
up?
is once we get there. We won't know until we're actually there. It's the main problem.
I mean, they want us to disable it permanently. It's gonna be
Meaning
harsh.
we would probably have to blow some shit up.
That is the idea, yeah. Blowing shit up is definitely, yeah.
All right. So anyone inside the factory is considered a soldier. Acceptable casualties.
She nods. She says, rules of engagement. Anyone carrying a weapon, open targets.
Works for me. Do we have any, besides like my contacts, do we have any contacts actually on world that could help us?
She shakes her head. Not on this planet. We have some scattered throughout the sector, but not here.
And I think we pretty much have our plan. Either take out or cause a distraction at the reactor after we've dropped through drop pods, and then heads to the factory and see what we can do there. Everyone in agreement?
Just
Yeah.
as much as we can for now,
Hmm.
with the limited information we have.
So, BB pipes up. She says, Captain, are you going to tell them about the outside help? Captain goes, yes. I called in extra hands. I believed we needed more combat personnel. They'll be meeting you when we arrive in sector. We have a small...
On planet or just in space somewhere?
We'll be making the transfer before you drop. We have a small, and she kind of like air quotes, civilian tug around the planet. It's been there for a couple of days. We have a man on board. He's to be transferred to here. The ship, like the civilian tug we have, it's going to be scuttled afterwards. We'll be taking on a few crew members.
We could actually, now that I think about it, we could crash that. We could, if we really want to, we could probably find a way to crash that tug into the either reactor or the refinery. Might be useful.
It depends. Do they have orbital weapons?
She nods. She says, I believe they probably have ways of disabling the craft before it made contact with
At least one that small.
Yeah, it's not a large ship. I mean, if
Yeah,
you could
never mind
find
that
a
then.
cruiser or a frigate, and a captain who was willing to sacrifice said ship, you might be able to make a difference. True, it would.
Vincent
Probably.
looks around the room. Well, this is a cruiser.
She looks at you. You're not taking my ship. This cost a lot of money. And a lot of resources.
And so
What-
did that refinery, probably.
What information do we have of our new crew member?
Just like you, he was selected for a purpose. We couldn't get him out straight away. Other situations arose. We've got him now, though.
I assume he knows what happened on planet before
The-
we arrive on the ship.
Information is spreading slowly throughout the sector. I can't be certain that it's reached its way out there yet.
Very well. If there's anything else,
She shakes her head.
works for me. Vincent looks around the room, seeing if anyone else has anything to say. Anyone?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, so she turns to you. She
Nothing
says,
to add.
one last thing. I believe it's important you all know who you're working for. You're not technically cleared for this information, but oh well. We are a branch of military intelligence. We operate outside the normal conventions of the UNN. Stuff that wouldn't fly for
That was
fleet,
clear.
fly for us. We get our hands dirty so they don't. You're here to make a difference in this war. They can't. There are regulations in the way. We override them. I hope none of you have a problem with
So
this.
saying that we could get, if we do something stupid and that affects us, we could get in trouble with our own name, for our own country, with our own people.
Your operations within this unit are not common knowledge to the rest of the fleet. Most of your missions, operations, will be conducted outside of fleet's intelligence. We will enlist the help of fleet every now and then, like we are on this mission, but for the most part, we are a separate entity.
I take it this is that organization BB mentioned to me earlier.
That would be it. BB is talkative.
BB
Are
did
you
not
able to
disclose
tell us
any
who was in
information.
charge? Or was that still not our pay grade?
Maybe later.
Vincent asked, like, are you able to tell us who's in charge or not?
Yeah,
Like, who's above you?
she kind of shakes her head. She says, "This. I am unsure as to whether I would really meant to even tell you what I have, although I believe it's important for you to know. I wouldn't,
Helpful, at least.
I wouldn't expect you to operate for somebody you don't know who. And I don't want you operating under the assumption that you are working under same protocols as Fleet."
Really work in the military, in the general military, is also working under a faceless ruler. Nobody really knows what the monarchy's doing these days. But I understand your reasoning. Thank you for telling us.
She nods. She says, "I have an open book policy. For the information that you are cleared to know, I'd like you to. There are no secrets here."
Then one question: why is the ship fucking empty?
BB pipes up. She says, "Because I can do the job of hundreds of you meatbags. The
It
rest
does
are
seem
unnecessary."
slightly odd that we have such a large ship for such a small crew when a smaller one would be far superior in stealth missions, even equipped with a intelligence.
She nods. She says, "The benefits of a larger ship ended up outweighing the negatives. Being able to carry more equipment, the offensive capabilities that this ship provides. In the end, if you get into a tricky situation on planet, the ship is more than capable of providing enough fire support to hopefully get you home. We just can't stand in a long-term engagement for very long."
Understood.
How versed are you in flying, BB?
BB shrugs. He says, I can do anything you meatbags can, and probably better. Although I lack hands. You meatbags are helpful for some things."
I'll take that as a compliment.
I believe if there's anything else, I will go to my quarters and begin planning and stuff.
Would we be getting drone support?
No. All other support we have within sector is going to be provided to fleet. We want to minimize casualties in this costly little distraction that we have going for you. Losing too many ships would set us back. Although a couple are acceptable.
Am I the highest ranking person in the crew besides the captain at the moment?
You have an officer in Elijah,
Yes, but he's an officer.
and yeah, you're a staff sergeant, right?
I'm the normal sergeant,
Yeah.
but
So
the other
at
sergeant
the
is.
moment, yes, you are.
I'm the highest ranking field operative.
At the moment, yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
One last question.
Yep.
How important is this mission to the success of the UNN?
It
How
would
bad
help.
would it set?
We want to stop enemy shipbuilding capabilities. If we fail here, it is possible they will just continue to make ships until they can just overwhelm us. As you can see, their ships are more advanced than ours. Well, we don't have the weapons on their sort of.
Speaking of being advanced, since we are going to the facility where they are made, we may be able to acquire their plans. Would that be good for us, or what?
It's a secondary objective. If you can acquire plans, blueprints, even samples of, well, primarily the weaponry they're using. You saw what they dropped on the planet. If you can provide any sort of specs for that, it might help us stop it. But my primary objective is the destruction of the factory.
If I can get into their systems, I can get those plans.
She nods. That is why you're here.
Though, I hope you wouldn't use that technology for the same purpose they did.
Simply a deterrent. Mad warfare.
I nod.
I think we've seen enough planets destroyed for one. We've seen enough planets destroyed. We don't need any more.
I agree with you there. She turns. If there's nothing else, you are dismissed.
Vincent walks off first, not really talking to anyone.
As I'm leaving the room, I say to BB, I've decided on a pronoun for you, BB.
Yeah?
My people would use V.
That works.
It's specialized for AI.
Yeah.
I just
BB says,
just go.
like I said, whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah, Mary just kind of follows Strange after saying her traditional goodbyes to the captain.
I go
Vincent
to the
probably actually heads to
midday.
the officers' lounge.
Okay.
What's everyone else doing?
I go to the midday, assuming that's where Eliza will go. Oh, fuck.
It is.
I'm going to walk my dog.
There's plenty of space.
Yeah, you've got plenty of
Well,
room, man.
He needs
How
exercise.
long is
I'm
this
not
ship?
gonna be here for a while.
Actually, yeah, like this ship's probably like 400 meters long. You said.
Yeah. You have plenty of room to be able to walk your dog.
Yeah, no, I'm walking my dog. Don't try to stop me. I got nothing else to do.
There's probably a massive gym with like treadmills and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
if
Matt-
your dog running on a treadmill.
Well, we have an entire ship. We could just be jogging in the hallways.
Yeah, there's that too. You can like run laps of the ship, right?
But I purposely get to the mid bay after Elijah because yeah.
What?
I just walk around until I like see the life signal appear in the mid bay and then I go there.
So yeah, I assume Elijah, you go to the med bay, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
But I'm
you
sleeping.
after a while, Zai walks in. What are you two doing?
Hey, Tin Man.
Hi, good, thank you. We weren't able to continue the discussion about your paper back on planet before it happened. I was just curious to where you got your inspiration from.
The inspiration was mostly from. Well, have you read my file?
Yes.
Yes. My inspiration to look at it was from events in my past, basically. And the sudden increase of stress and trauma can do things to a psychic's mind. You can never
I
tell what
nod.
exactly the disease will do to you. As useful as
I
it is, it's still a disease.
I think I would just start like trying to probe you questions about the because I'm assuming you don't know
Whoa.
what the no.
So
I'm
the robot's
assuming
trying to probe her. Sounds fun.
I'm assuming Jake doesn't know what the actual contents of the paper is because there's nothing. MES isn't a real thing,
Me,
and
I'm guessing,
yeah,
as in
yeah,
actually me.
yeah. So
I
like
can I can use stupid jargon.
Zai's just probing, like asking questions, not probing, asking questions
The
about
meta
the
the
paper.
medical the metaphysical manifestation of the MES mind is a problem in all that kind of shit. Just using
Yeah,
Very nice
fucking crap
bullshit.
jargon.
Well done.
just
Hey,
starts
I can
talking to
bullshit
her
my way through
about the
sci-fi.
paper and MES in general if she
Yeah.
is obliged.
Okay. So is there anything anyone else is like specifically doing in the next like how many days of travel?
Yeah, 2
Spending your
days.
time on the shooting range.
Vincent's just like planning out ways of assault and stuff, doing stuff that a leader would normally do.
So yeah, we just got kind of like a montage of all these things you guys are doing.
Hanging out in the officer's lounge, making drinks float around his head.
I probably do check out BB's housing, like the computer core itself, with their permission.
Yeah, absolutely. BB like so when you walk in, like BB projects like a blue like holographic home sweet home like thing on the wall. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, you can go through that. We get like a montage of you going through all this stuff. And then if there's nothing else is there anything anyone wants to start?
I wanna do 2 last things. I wanna have a quick
Go on.
conversation with BB for
Yeah.
one.
Let's do that.
I assume it's the middle of a conversation by now.
Yeah.
And I just wanna go over I wanna roleplay one question, which is do you project humanity on yourself?
I do what I do for the benefits of the humans around me. The only reason I project the avatar at all, and the avatar, like the blue box, like disintegrates, is so that you humans have something to talk to. I guess, well, I feel as if you're more comfortable that way than a disembodied voice floating around the ship.
The voice suits me fine.
Those are always
My problem is that most AIs project some form of humanity on themselves, which is fundamentally what you are not.
BB nods. Most
From
AIs
what I've
would...
seen of you so far, I've understood that you understand that you're not human, which is
Yeah.
good.
BB like says yes. Most AIs would project a human figure, fundamentally human. Of course, we all have our different stylings. I choose a box because that is what I am. I am information, nothing more.
I forget. Did we say if the AI was broken or not broken?
It was unbroken.
Yeah, unbroken AI.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it
it was
could
unbroken.
expand as much as it felt like, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want to go and find out. No, not find out. I want to go and seek out Mary.
She's on the shooting range.
Alright, so yeah, we get a scene of like Mary holding whatever, like a weapon of some sort, like firing rounds off down the range, like earmuffs on, like hearing protection on, and all that. And then yeah, we see Elijah like walk up, like go through the
I'm
door
probably
behind her.
wearing whatever officer,
Yeah.
junior officer uniform I have,
Yeah.
or whatever. Casual clothes, I guess.
She notes you're in the room and takes off her earmuffs and looks at you like
I kind of like walk in front of her and like lean on where the weapons are. I imagine rested, and just lean against it.
right,
Mm.
lad.
believe that's the wrong pronoun.
Right, right, lass. What you want?
I. Why did you join the military?
You know who I am?
No.
Uh, uh, my family is all military.
Well,
I
you
just
joined
kind
it
of.
to follow tradition.
There's nothing else to do. Plants are blowing up, so I guess it just came with the. It came with the family, and it came with the situation.
But
Because
is it what you want?
I suppose we'd be right fucked if I wasn't here.
Right, fucked if any of us wasn't here. That's a man part. That's a man down. We need the numbers as much as we can, apparently. I just talked to her for a while, just about like why she's in the military and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a conversation I'm gonna have
Yeah.
eventually with everyone.
So like Mary, like how much information do you provide? Like, do you hold back on anything, or?
No, she's used to being interviewed, so she gives the standard 3 point responses. It's like, yeah, I'm inspiring, and you know, my
Official, not
father's in the
personal.
military. Yeah, she doesn't really give you any relevant
Her actual
information.
views.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
basically just gives you the standard stuff.
Yeah.
You could have gotten it from a video.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing I didn't want. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Nah,
So-
I'm done.
So yeah.
For now.
Is there anything else anybody else wants to do quickly? No. Okay.
Let's leave now. Have a good time for a break.
Yeah, that's what we're
I
about
want
to
to
do.
make a sandwich.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can make a sandwich. What sort of sandwich is
Oh,
it?
cool. It's a tuna sweet corn.
Nice, good choice. Go. Yeah, you can tick off that
Right.
goal.
Yeah, man.
I can't
Actually,
believe that's one of the goals.
Noting
Seriously.
now, before we do go down on planet, I stock up on vials of my injected ration.
Yeah.
Like, before
Um,
we leave, I would have vials of that.
Yep. So yeah, the scene we kind of we go to before we get a break, we see the Inquisitor like drop out of jump space, and you see a planet like stretched out before you. It's like any other really. It's kind of like a clouds. They're kind of like what you see in the image, right? That you're looking at, and yeah, you see like off in the distance, you see kind of like a shitty looking like civilian tug. It's just kind of like drifting around in space out there, and yeah, we'll have a quick break there. Well, everyone goes get drinks, goes to toilet, whatever they need to do. We'll be back in about 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
Back in a
Then
moment.
it cuts back to the Inquisitor, zooms in on a window, and it's Elijah making a sandwich, and Zai making liquidy brown stuff.
Sounds good.
I'll be right back.
Is this getting streamed?
No, they said
It's getting YouTubed.
yeah,
Yeah.
YouTubed.
Are all the videos going to be 4 hours long?
No,
Just the first one?
I am having supreme troubles with my computer at the moment. Literally not liking any single video. Like, I literally got to the point where I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna try Windows Media, like Windows Movie
God.
Maker, and even that didn't fucking work. So, like, I literally all I need is the ability to like cut video, and I'm having the biggest fucking problems in the world with that. So. Next time, hopefully, it won't be a
I
4 hour
would
long
offer
chunk.
to do it for you, but sending like 4
Yeah,
hours
nah,
worth
that
of
wouldn't
video
work.
through Skype would be problematic.
That would probably take like till next session, literally all
Yeah.
week.
Like with our combined terrible internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god, that'd
By
be
the way,
horrible.
Liam,
Yeah.
I would suggest that with the videos, you actually cut them at each break, just so it's
Yeah.
like shorter videos for
It's-
people to watch.
Well, the entire thing is going to be cut at each break. It's going to be
the first one,
cut. Yeah, it's going to be cut into like 3 to 4 parts per week. But yeah, like I said, my computer.
Why
is...
This is
don't
the first
you
part you
just
left as
stop
one video.
recording at each break?
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to cut it, and you like it's individual videos.